One day, a long time ago, I was at the mall with the homies. Back when going to the mall was basically a full day side quest. We just finished walking around, probably spent money we didn't have, and now we're standing in the game store line waiting to pay. You know the drill, you grab a game, then you stand in that long ass line slowly moving forward while staring at all the other games on the shelf like, man, I wish I could afford like 15 more of these. And while we're standing there, we start talking about RPGs, Final Fantasy, Chrono Cross, all the classics. We're basically having this deep ass discussion about turn-based combat like a bunch of 14-year-old gaming scholars. And then suddenly, the guy standing in front of us turns around. Now listen, this dude looked exactly like what would happen if you asked AI to generate a level 100 RPG nerd. Glasses, messy hair, believe it or not, a fedora hat. Probably hasn't seen sunlight since the NES launched. This man looked like his mom's basement was his final dungeon, but then he says something that completely changes the direction of my gaming life. He goes, "You guys should try Suikoden," and that's it. No explanation, no speech, no dramatic build-up, just drops the recommendation like some mysterious RPG sage NPC and turns back around. And let me tell you something, if I ever saw that man again, I'd give him a big smooch on the forehead, because this random basement wizard just introduced me to one of the most underrated RPGs on a PlayStation 1. So we end up picking up Suikoden, and the moment I boot the game up, I realize something. This is not your typical RPG story. You're not just some random hero going on an adventure. Nope. In Suikoden, you basically end up becoming the leader of an entire rebellion army. And as the story progresses, you start recruiting characters. And when I say recruiting characters, I'm talking about 10 football squads. I don't mean like 3 or 4 party members. I mean 108 characters. At that point, I realized this game is not an RPG. This is basically Pokemon for political revolution. You out here collecting warriors, ninjas, mages, chefs, musicians. Half the time, I didn't even know why these people were joining my army. One minute you're recruiting a legendary warrior. Next minute you just convinced a random beggar to join your rebellion. And somehow that beggar is now part of the fate of the entire kingdom. But the crazy part, once you start recruiting characters, you cannot stop. Every new town you visit, you're thinking, alright, which one of these weird NPCs can I recruit? You start talking to everyone, villagers, shopkeepers, random guys standing next to a barrel. At some point I was interrogating NPCs like a detective. Hey bro, you look important. Wanna overthrow the government with me? And the best part is your army slowly grows and builds a castle headquarters. So every time you recruit someone new, your base gets bigger. No shops open, new characters show up. Suddenly your castle feels like the Avengers headquarters of medieval rebellion. But what really made Suikoden special was how much was happening at once. You had turn-based battles, massive army war battles, and even these dramatic duels where it basically became rock, paper, scissors with swords. I mean, one minute you're fighting with your whole party, next minute you're commanding an entire army like you're suddenly Napoleon Bonaparte with anime hair, and somehow the game made all of it work. And that's why the first Suikoden became such a cult classic. It had a huge world, a massive cast of characters, and a story about rebellion and loyalty that actually felt bigger than most RPGs at the time. Let that sink in. Any game that lets you recruit 108 characters automatically activates the completionist part of your brain, because now you're not just finishing a game, you're out here trying to build the ultimate RPG Pokemon collection. The only thing I regret about this whole adventure is I never saw that level 100 basement sage again. He disappeared back into the wild like some mysterious gaming NPC whose quest you completed once and never encounter again. But if by some miracle he's watching this video, just know this: te quiero mucho, hermano.